Well, everyone, welcome back to the Level 1 podcast for April 19th, 2024. This is now going to be part 2. Reason being, I had technical difficulties. First, both my monitors turned off. I was like, huh? So I moved my mouse, and then everything turned back on, but everyone said that there was a flickering on the stream. I'm like, I don't know what caused that. It doesn't usually happen. And then my mic malfunctioned all at once, basically, within a minute. So it's obviously some weird stuff going on with my setup today. Hopefully it keeps working. Anyway, continuing on, what I was going to say is, let's talk about the schedule. We talked about Phil's day off. We talked about my live review of the Fallout TV series. That's in part 1. Now let's talk about the schedule for the week. So, today, it's more Helldivers 2. The cool thing is, last time we played, I hit level 15, and at level 15, you unlock a bunch of stuff. Notably, I got the orbital laser, as well as the 500-kilogram bomb airstrike. And everyone says that these are both great stratagems that almost everyone uses in the meta. So I definitely should have these. And then in addition to that, I got a force field that you can throw down, and basically it protects your whole group of Helldivers during different scenarios. Like if at the end you're trying to extract, and just you could defend yourselves to an onslaught of monsters or robots coming at you. So it's basically a really good stratagem. So I've never used these yet. I unlocked them, but I haven't used them, so I'm very excited to try them today in the gameplay. Helldivers 2 generally does good. People come by, they engage, they support, they give me tips on how to play, they laugh at my misfortunes, and we have a good time together. So hopefully Helldivers 2 today goes well. Later tonight on the late stream, it is Friday Night Fights. More Street Fighter 6, yes, more Blanca gameplay. And I'm going to, again, start with casual play. Whether or not I try ranked play tonight is on the fence. I'm really not sold about it because ranked play is such a try-hard mode. In fact, the other day on this very podcast, we had a discussion about it. How I feel like I'm actually getting better matches in casual play than I would if I played in ranked. Someone left a comment on a video, that actually resonated, and I was like, wow. So basically, what I'm feeling is true. They said, yes, what's happened now is, and this happens with all fighting games, we're almost a year into the life cycle of Street Fighter 6. At this point, the people who are still playing it are those who are dedicated to playing it. These are people who play it all the time. Much like right now, if I were to jump into Call of Duty, probably the people still playing, Modern Warfare 3 are those who've played a ton of Modern Warfare 3 and continue to play it at a competitive level. These are not casuals just jumping in to have fun. So if you try to play ranked now, it is such a different experience than playing ranked 5 months ago when you had such a bigger player base of people trying to get good. Basically, everyone there already has their stuff established. And it's just ultimate 100% balls to the wall, try hard mode to win. And so this person confirmed, like, yeah, right now, just so you know, if you play ranked, you're only going to be facing people who literally play this game every day. This is what they do. This is their hobby. They just play Street Fighter. So it's like imagine if you, a more casualized player, went to play me in an arcade 20 years ago. Seriously, me when I used to play, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, when I was playing those games at a high-ass competitive level, right? Imagine me now playing a guy who only plays the game a couple of times a week, walks into the arcade. I'm going to spank him. I'm just going to wipe the floor with them. And essentially, that's what's going to happen if I try to play this game in ranked. I'm not saying that I'm opposed to doing that. It's just these people have established strategies that work online, probably going to have abusable shit, loops that I don't even know how to handle because it's just a loop they've memorized, right? And it's basically just not going to be very fun. I'm not going to learn. It's just going to be stupid. Especially because a lot of people who hit that master level have terrible internet connections and suck. They're just button mashers who do a pattern, but it works because they play so much they still hit master. That's so dumb that you can lose more than win and still hit master in the game. I think that's a really big oversight by Capcom. They did screw that up. So tonight we're going to start with casual play. We're going to see how it goes. Maybe I'll go to ranked. Maybe I won't. I'm not convinced that ranked is even worth my time anymore. We might give it a shot, but keep in mind, if I play ranked and I lose ranking points and then I play casual, it actually affects your casual matches. It does. Like right now, I'm at the base 1500 level with Blanca. If I stay there and I play casual, I have a higher chance of potential to play higher ranked people. I've played people with 1600, even 1700 ranking points. If I go into ranked and I lose a bunch of ranking points, now they're going to put me against people who are at the bottom of the barrel, and it's just a waste of time, So I don't know. I'll think about it. But anyway, Friday Night Fights, more Blanca tonight on the late stream, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, as I continue to try to level this character up. I'm now implementing the level 2 super. I've learned how to combo it properly. Not all the time. I do miss the timing a bunch, but the times that it got it to hit was really effective, and I'm looking forward to figuring out how to implement even more. Okay? Cool. All right, so that's tonight. Tomorrow, it's the continuation of Elden Ring. And wow, that last Elden Ring session we did was so surprising. I had no idea that I was going to do that well. We beat the entire Blood Lake, Blood Palace, and Moog within an hour. And I was like, what the heck? Now we're in Farum Azula, and yes, I am in the fated Godskin duo fight. I've gotten this close to beating them and lost twice when I was this. Once I ran out of resources. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I didn't have any flasks. I needed to hit the guy like 2 more times and I won, and I had no weapon. So I was like, so I think what I'm going to try this time, rather than doing the dual wielding staves, I think I am going to go back to having the staff in one hand and the Darkmoon Greatsword in the other. That way, if I happen to run out of FP, I at least have a sword to fight these guys with. Because that's my problem right now, is the FP use is too much, and I'm running out of FP, and then I can't hit them. I have no weapon equipped. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to do what I was doing before, and I think I'll be able to beat them this time. And then we continue on. Remember, Farum Azula, there's a lot to do. There's optional bosses and things to fight. It's going to be fun. So we're going to finish Farum Azula, and then after that, we make our decision. You know, what do I want to do next? We still have some options, okay? Cool. So, Saturday night, as long as nothing changes right now, it doesn't look like it will, Saturday night will finally officially be the premiere the Beyond Two Souls co-op playthrough that I'm going to be doing with my wife. All right? We wanted to do this for over a month. Every single circumstance seems to happen to conspire against us, so we can't really do it. It's looking like it's on pace and going to happen Saturday night this week. Okay? I hope. If not, well, we'll pull an audible. We'll figure it out. But it looks like as of now, everything is lined up. It's working. Okay? And, you know, hopefully it'll happen. I'm excited for this, you know. Beyond Two Souls is a fun narrative-based game. My wife has never experienced it before, so it's her honest first-time reaction to it, and I want to see how it goes. Hopefully people will show up for it and hang out and have a good time with us, okay? Sunday's React Day, so it's DSP versus the Internet clip show on DSP Reacts, followed by the next part of the Retro React of the Walking Dead series Season 1, which we're going to finish Episode 2 and then start Episode 3 on the DSP Throwback channel on the late stream. And then later in the week, it'll be, you know, balance more Helldivers, more Elden Ring, more Street Fighter, and what we need to figure out now, because basically I'm not playing Harold Halibut anymore. We tried it, and people basically didn't like it, right? I'm thinking of throwing in a Star Wars Battlefront stream randomly in there, just for variety purposes, to have something different. I'd be totally okay with that. And then next week, not this week, but next week, okay, we've got the possibility of 2 things. Now, one thing I already said I was going to do, but now another thing is going on that people seem to want, so now we have to make decisions, okay? So here's the deal. Everyone listen up. Basically, on my day off next week, which would be the 25th, so April 25th, there's 2 things going on. The first is there's the release of this game called Another Crab's Treasure. Basically, it's a Soulsborne game. It plays like a Soulsborne game, all right? But it's starring a hermit crab who's fighting aquatic creatures. It looks cutesy, but apparently the gameplay is unforgiving like a Soulsborne game. It's a Game Pass game. So some people are interested in seeing me do this, and others are like, it's too cutesy, I don't like it. So already there seems to be a division among my viewers of, should I try it out or not? It is a Game Pass game. So even if we play it the once, much like Harold Halibut, if we play it once and it doesn't work, there's no commitment to keep going. We could just not play it any further, okay? So that's number 1. Number 2, Fallout 4 is getting a current gen update to basically make it have performance and or quality mode selectors. Apparently it's supposed to run incredibly smoothly. Much like I said, when my wife played Fallout 76, basically, it ran great. Like, the graphics were actually absolutely outstanding for Fallout 76. Like, I couldn't believe how good they looked. And so that's just what they're supposed to be doing with Fallout 4, giving it a patch that makes it run as good as Fallout 76, okay? I guess it's going to add some content, but it's not clear because it's weird. I looked at the official notes and I didn't see anything about this, but people are insisting there's DLC content being added to the game about the Enclave. And I'm like, I don't see confirmation from that, but maybe I'm just not looking at the right sources. I'm not sure. Anyway, so all that is happening supposedly this Thursday for free. This is something that's going to happen for free for everybody. This is not like, oh, it's only going to happen if you buy it or something. If you have the game, that's a free update. Now, I have Game Pass, and all the Fallout games are under Game Pass. We're in the midst of Fallout Mania, right? And some people have been asking, will I play Fallout? And I'm like, well, I'm not playing New Vegas. I just played it. I can tell you right now, I'm not playing 76. It sucks. So the choices are Fallout 3 or Fallout 4. Now, Fallout 3 I've already played multiple times on YouTube. I think I've already done 2 full runs, if not 3, but I know I did 2 full runs. In addition, there are strong rumors based on leaks that happened last year during the Microsoft court case to buy Activision Blizzard that essentially Fallout 3 is going to get an update. It's coming. It's in the works. It's going to have a modern gen update as well. So then why play Fallout 3 now if what's going to end up happening is the Fallout 3 will get an update in a year and now I'm frustrated because I just played it, right? So honestly, it makes more sense if I'm going to play a Fallout game, play the one I've only played once, play the one that's getting an update this week, and that would be Fallout 4. Now, some people will have issue with that because a lot of people, for some reason, don't like Fallout 4. Personally, I enjoyed Fallout 4 when it came out. I did. I kind of looked past all the shortcomings of the game, which at the time, everyone just wanted to talk about. Oh, the gunplay isn't as good because VATS isn't as emphasized. Oh, the building is and base protection is very annoying. The plot isn't as good as 3 or New Vegas. Those are all valid criticisms. All right? They definitely are. But I still liked the game. I wasn't in love with it, but I definitely liked it. In fact, at the time I was all in the hype, I said it was my game of the year. No exaggeration. I said Fallout 4 is my game of the year 2015. In retrospect, okay, I don't think it's as good as I thought. I think I was into the hype of it at the time. But I still think it's a fine game. Like right now, with Fallout Mania going on, I would much rather people go play Fallout 4 than Fallout 76. Because I think Fallout 4 is more in the spirit of what the franchise has always been. While 76 was this weird departure to make Fallout games as a service and just print money for Bethesda rather than worrying about the quality of the game world. It's not. The game world is lame in 76. It's boring as shit. So, yeah. And the thing is, again, with Fallout 4, I've only played it the once. I honestly won't remember as much in Fallout 4 because I've already replayed 3 and 7 and New Vegas multiple times. And it's got the update, right? It's going to run better, supposedly, and have supposedly new content. Now, what's the extent of that content? I have no idea. We won't know unless I try. So here's the deal. In May, if you're not aware, there is nothing new and going on in May until the 3rd week of May. When we've got games like Hellblade 2, and I think there's 1 or 2 others. In fact, I'll just confirm that with you. I have my schedule here. In May, we've got Hellblade 2 on May 21st, the System Shock remake coming out for consoles on May 21st, Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door remake on May 23rd, and Multiverses re-releasing on May 28th. So once we get to the last 2 weeks of May, we've got a ton of shit going on. But we have 3 empty weeks to start off May. So maybe it makes sense for me to then play Fallout 4 during that time period and balance it with the end of Elden Ring and balance it with Helldivers and balance it with Street Fighter 6. And if I play this crab game, maybe balance it with another Crab's Treasure, right? So, here's the deal. I'm down for that. I'd be okay with playing Fallout 4 starting next week. If that's what people want, I'm okay with that. But I need to know if that's actually what you want. Keep in mind, we don't know how good this update's going to be. And also, from what everyone seems to think, this update will break all existing mods for the game. Meaning all those mods that have been added to Fallout 4 over the years will not work. And all the mod makers will have to find a way to patch their mods to work with this new version of the game. So, I'm not going to be able to play any mods. It's going to be vanilla, plain Fallout 4 with whatever this new update adds on that Thursday and go from there, okay? So, let me know what you think. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. I'm down for Fallout 4. I've only played it the once. I'd love to play it again and re-experience it now, 9 years later, with a more modernized setup, live, stream, webcam, live interactive audience. It's going to be so much different from the original run that I did 9 years ago. Okay? But kind of going back on the whole RPG overload idea, not to say that Fallout 4 is the traditional RPG in the way that, say, Final Fantasy 7 or Like a Dragon is, but it's still an RPG. But maybe after having a month away from RPGs, it would be time to have another one in the mix, especially now with the height of popularity of Fallout that's seeing in the mainstream gaming. In fact, we could use this to transition into our next subject matter. Fallout Mania that's going on right now. In general, the Fallout TV show has seen critical acclaim and viewer acclaim. Everyone seems to like the show, with little exception. The little exception is people who just don't understand that not everything is woke just because it might have something that you don't seem mainstream acceptable. Like, for example, I'm not kidding you. There's people who are saying the Fallout TV show sucks because it's woke, because there's two couples in it that are interracial and there's a trans character. It's an 8-hour show. There's one trans character in the entire cast. And by the way, they're a supporting character that's played incredibly well, fits into the story, has no bearing on the story that they're trans at all. They just exist in the universe just like anyone else. So it's not a plot point. It doesn't matter. There's two couples that are interracial. Wait a minute. We have problems with interracial couples in 2024? We do? In what universe is there something wrong with that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, doesn't make sense to me. Maybe it's because I grew up on the East Coast and now I'm on the West Coast, correct? But for me, to see people of different races like getting involved in romantic relationships is like a common thing. This is not like, oh, I've never seen this before. This is not a big deal. I don't even see why this would be a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make sense at all. To me, I'm just scratching my head. How does this affect the show or the quality of the show? These people are so obsessed with things that they're like, just because they exist, regardless of the fact that if they have a bearing on the show, affect the plot of the show in a negative way, which they don't, just because they exist on the show is an awful bad thing, and therefore the show is bad. That's just incredibly stupid. In my opinion, it's just a closed-minded thing to think that way. How could you think that because there's interracial couples in anything that it's bad? What does that say about you? Right? Where do you come from? You live in a place where only people of the same race can be romantically involved? What kind of a society are you living in? What kind of an isolated culture? It's kind of fucking weird. I'm sorry, it just is. I'm not saying that every single thing should be dictated to be a mix of cultures or whatever, right? But just because it's in the show doesn't mean that it's bad. It drives me nuts, these people, right? Anyway, outside of that very small group of people, everyone seems to like the show. Even those who are like the biggest fans of Fallout lore and are upset that the TV show either made mistakes with the lore or changed the lore. And I think that's really what it is. A lot of people are upset that certain things in the Fallout TV show aren't in line with the games. And now they're like, well, wait, Todd Howard is saying the TV show is canon. Does that mean it changes the lore of the games? Do you want to know the answer? Yes, it does mean that. It means that that's the lore they want to go with. Why? Because there's no fucking games out. The newest game that you can play of Fallout, right, to tie in with seeing the show and falling in love with this universe is like 7 years old. That's the newest one. So obviously they want to go with the lore of the show as the mainstream thing because we don't even know when we'll see another new Fallout game. What, another decade? So let the show be canon and then let the next games be in line with the show, right? I think that's what they're going for. And a lot of people are very upset about that because they were such adamant, staunch fans and scholars of the lore of the Fallout games and universe that to see that changed for a TV show, they're like, I can't believe it. You know, these people are like, these are the same people, all right, who 2 generations ago would go to the Star Trek and Star Wars conventions and line up to see William Shatner or Mark Hamill. And they would wait in line. And finally, when they get to see them, all right, they would have a giant folder And they would slam the folder down in front of the desk in front of them where the person was sitting and say, in episode 272, there was a line of dialogue that's not in line with the Prime Directive. Now, you got to explain to me what this means. And the actor would be sitting there like, it's a show, dude. It's a TV show. It's fun. It's meant to be something for entertainment. It's not real. It doesn't have to be. It never was designed to be. What is wrong with you? You're not supposed to obsess over it like this. Okay? And it goes back then, these people were dismissed as obsessive people. Today, it's like cool to be like that. Because now you can go on the internet and join an online community like that. And you can completely obsess over something that's just supposed to be a part of pop culture and not the whole obsession of your life where every little detail of the universe must be in line and make sense. There's going to be things that don't jive. There's going to be things that can't be explained or don't line up. No one cares that much about it, including the fucking showrunners. Do you really think Todd Howard cares that there's a date in the show on a chalkboard that's not in line with the dates of the games? Do you think he gives two flaming shits? He doesn't care. He cares about the money that's being printed right now because people like the show. Anyway, so all that being said, okay? All that being said, Fallout Mania is real. And absolutely everyone is going crazy right now for Fallout Mania. Everyone wants Fallout. In fact, Fallout 76 numbers on Steam typically gets around 16 to 18,000 players. Now has like over 40,000. So it's almost tripled in the amount of player base. Fallout 4, for the first time ever, had over 100,000 concurrent players on Steam. Okay? So there you go. And that's pretty crazy. To me, that this insane amount of popularity is now coming to Fallout. And isn't it ironic? Because this is probably, right now with this TV show, no exaggeration, probably the biggest mainstream appeal Fallout's ever had. More people now are understanding how cool Fallout is for the very first time. And there's literally nothing else to consume that's less than 7 years old. You want to talk about a mismanagement and a misstep? This is the direct definition of it. That Todd Howard completely mismanaged his studio to the point where now they can't even make a fucking video game. There's no Fallout games on the horizon. Shit, there's not even an Elder Scrolls game on the horizon. We have no information about the two biggest franchises from this studio. They're just lost in development hell. Meanwhile, Starfield came out last fall and it's an insane flop. No one likes it. No one talks about it. No one gives two fucks about it. So why, you got to ask this question. What were they thinking? Pushing a Fallout show, having it come out and be good, and now have absolutely nothing to offer anyone that's new. Nothing. Not a comic book, not a mobile game, not a mainstream video game, like nothing. We have nothing to offer you that's less than 7 years old. What kind of a strategy is that? It's moronic. And this is Todd Howard in charge. Do you really think Todd Howard knows what he's doing at this point? I don't. Much like Phil Spencer, much like all these guys who at one point people looked up to them as these big bastions of games and game development, and you know, they're doing an awful job. That's why we're 4 months into 2024. And can you say one game that's been the big game that everyone's been into this year? We're third into the year. And there hasn't been one single big game. They're all kind of meh. And then they just die out and fizzle out. You want to know the big game? Helldivers 2, which no one heard of till it came out and became virally popular. That's the big game. What happened to these companies? They used to be able to make consistently good games that would be high profile, AAA. Everyone would be talking about them. The entire game community would be into them. Now, none of that happens anymore. Right? This is ridiculous. When Fallout TV show comes out, there should be fucking Fallout content to consume to supplement that desire. Now, I got to go back and play Fallout 76, which is 7 years old, and it's an online MMO piece of shit. Or Fallout 4, which is 9 years old, and arguably people didn't like it as much as the previous two. Well, maybe I'll go back and play the 16-year-old Fallout 3, which is the best of them all. But it's like, what a joke. Right? Really? What a joke. I don't know what they did here. Like, this is supposed to be, Todd Howard is supposed to fucking be the lead of the studio. I feel like he doesn't do anything anymore. Like, what the fuck is he really doing? He's lying about games and shit. He goes out and lies about Starfield constantly. The game comes out, and the game is terrible and not in line with anything he promised, right? He says the Fallout TV show is canon, but then it contradicts the lore of the games 20 times. So then what's really true, right? Anyway, in my opinion, I'm happy that this is happening. I'm sad that Fallout Mania is basically creating kind of a chaotic situation where no one really knows what to consume. You know, at least when the Witcher TV show came out, there was one piece of content to consume, Witcher 3, right? When the Halo TV show came out, as bad as it was, people went and played Halo Infinite, right? Now, you go and play, what am I going to play? A shitty MMO or a not as shitty but not as good as the previous game that's already almost a decade old? Like, what do I play? Right? So, anyway, that being said, I like Fallout and I cannot wait, and I hope that you guys would want to see Fallout 4. I'm down for that. If it, you know, early May, that's what you guys want to do, is play some Fallout 4 and balance that with Elden Ring, balance that with other games and multiplayer games. That sounds like a plan, okay? So I hope that you guys will join me for that. And if not, well, then I would like to know what it is that you would like to see. Please share with me if that's not it, right? But I think that it would be a great idea to start this, okay? At least until we get to bigger, better things. Like I said, in late May, there will be multiple new releases to play, okay? All right. That's what I got for today, folks. So what we'll do now is we'll get to shout-outs, okay? Cool. All right. On the YouTube side of stuff, I believe there was one super chat. For some odd reason, it's not showing up. Oh, I know why. Because this is the wrong leaderboard. I got the wrong leaderboard up. BB Phil did a super chat this morning. Says, I wouldn't mind getting Indian for the Fighting Feast in May during the Street Fighter event if that's what we end up doing. Right. We do have to decide what the next marathon will be. We've tossed around various different ideas. One would be, I'm going to call it a fighting game fiesta. We're not going to call it the Fight and Feast. We already did a Fight and Feast last year. We'll call it the fighting game fiesta if we do it. But if we do that, my wife is going to make food. Like, she's actually going to do what she did last time, and she's going to take some recipes out of the Street Fighter cookbook, and she's going to make some of them for the show, or for the marathon. So we won't be ordering food then. We'll actually be having homemade food. What? I don't know yet. We haven't even gotten to that point to discuss it, but that's what we will do. All right, but let's see if that's what we end up doing. I'm not sure. Also, thank you, Big Mac. Big Mac just re-upping their membership. I really appreciate that. Thank you for supporting the channel. Excuse me, a little gas there. Okay. Let's swing over to tips, shall we? We start off today with a $20 tip from BB Phil. Let's start off today strong. Let's unlock some of these goals. What was your favorite moment unlocking a character or item in a video game? For me, it's probably unlocking the red flying cap in Mario 64. They had an N64 set up at the local mall, and a random kid showed everyone how to get it. We all rushed back home as fast as we could and unlocked it ourselves. It was before you could just look everything up on the internet. So suddenly receiving any game knowledge about this was really special. For me, the first major unlocks in anything would have been fighting games. You know, back in the day, you had a standard roster of characters that were in the game. But then in games like Mortal Kombat, the Versus series of fighting games, hell, even like the Street Fighter Alpha series, I remember, you would have secret codes that you could put in on the character select screen to get new characters unlocked. And I really enjoyed that. Like, I remember Street Fighter Alpha 1, M. Bison was the boss, but wasn't playable. But if you put a code in, then he was playable, and he was, like, godlike in that game. So, that's, like, my first experience with serious unlocks of anything of that capacity. And much like you just said, it wasn't common knowledge. Like, you would go on the internet, and you'd get a code, and half the time the code didn't work because people got it wrong. So, you'd be mucking about trying to figure out how to get it to work. And then someone would randomly get it to work because they actually did it the right way, and the code was wrong by, like, one input. Like, how the fuck did that happen, right? So, that was fun. That was always very fun for me, is getting the unlocks of secret characters in fighting games in the arcades. You know, having that social experience of doing it with other people. You're not just playing the game at home, but you're actually there with other people with those characters now available to play, which is really neat. I received a $2 tip. What is your opinion on Euden? I was going to pre-order it. It looks like it's a watered-down Suikoden 1 and 2, which I really enjoyed. I know nothing about it. From what you guys are telling me, I guess it's supposed to be the spiritual successor to the Suikoden series, but I haven't seen it. As you know, with all the RPGs that already came out this year, I'm just not into playing another JRPG at all. And it sucks because I really do feel like that would be something I'd be interested in, but it wouldn't catch on with the audience right now. I need to kind of focus on things that are hot or more interesting right now, action-based, as opposed to slow turn-based combat. You know, it's just not going to work. So, yeah, I mean, maybe in the future I'd be interested in it. Right now, I just don't think that there would be enough or any interest in my audience of that, okay? Okay, all right, hold on, because I got a bunch of tips here to shout out. I just gotta get it to load. Oh, it's slow today. Okay. I received a $10 tip from 1 Minute Man. Oh, God, here we go. Well, basically, 1 Minute Man, he disagrees with my take on Fallout lore. That basically, I'm saying that people take it way too seriously, and he thinks that my take is incorrect, and that I should respect those who like the lore so much. I'm not saying you can't like the lore so much. I'm just saying, understand that when you have a situation like this right now, there's a TV show that's made. It's the only piece of content in 6 to 7 years you've had out of this franchise. This free TV show will be what becomes mainstream popular. Correct? We can all agree there, right? Like, that's it. We know there's no Fallout games coming. That all is a given. So either you like the show or you don't. But to sit there and micro-analyze every frame and say, well, this is acceptable and this is not, and this isn't fair. Is this a mistake, or is this a lore error, or is this not explained yet? At some point, again, like I said, when you go to a convention, do you hound the actors at the convention about little mistakes? No. And people who used to do that used to be treated like, what is wrong with you, right? It's just supposed to be for fun. It's not that serious. Today, it seems to be mainstream acceptable to be overly crazy, analytical, and serious about entertainment. Maybe at some point, if you become to that level, you should take a step back, take a deep breath, and realize that what you're doing is obsessive, right? You don't need to be that much into it. You know, I love Street Fighter. I'm not going to sit there and microanalyze every piece of every game and every piece of lore and scream at them about it. And some people do. Some people literally do. You remember the debates about poison back in the day? That is poison a man? Is poison a woman? Is poison in the middle of a transition? Is poison this or that? Who cares? It doesn't matter. Why are we even arguing about it? It's entertainment. It's not meant to be taken that seriously. This is not a scientific data point that's going to determine how mathematics are calculated that's going to affect our world. It's just, it's a story meant to be something to be consumed in free time for entertainment. But I think that's the problem, is in the modern world, a lot of things that used to be for your free time now just become for all of your time, right? How many people get so immersed into game universes, TV show universes, movie cinematic universes, that this is like the end-all be-all of who they are now? Dude, it's supposed to be something that you spend your free time on and then you move back to your real life. Not that this is the consumption of your entire real life. If you have time to microanalyze every frame of the Fallout TV show and you think that it's important, perhaps you should reevaluate your real life. There's other things going on. You can watch the show and enjoy it for what it is and not freak out at a lore error. But again, what happened is now we have all these online communities. And these online communities have almost like nurtured the growth of this mentality that this should now be how you are. You should be obsessive over. I mean, Fallout TV show is not the first time this has happened. Star Wars and Star Trek have been like this for the longest time. Okay, they really have. They were almost like the originators of this kind of behavior. Okay, and then you could argue, like, remember how people used to obsess over The Walking Dead or Game of Thrones? It's kind of the same thing, you see? So I get it. If you're a huge hardcore fan of Fallout, and now you're watching the TV show and there's all these changes, you're like, well, I hate this. I got you. I kind of agree with you there. But there's really one person to be mad at, and his name is Todd Howard. Todd Howard fucked everything up. He didn't make any Fallout games that were worth playing. He screwed the lore up with 76 to begin with, and now he's got this show going on, and he's saying it's canon. All Todd Howard had to do is say the show is its own entity, separate from the games. He didn't do that. He says it's canon. So it's on him, right? But instead, what I'm seeing? It's this weird idol worship of Todd Howard. Like, oh, well, he's infallible, so obviously there's things wrong with the show or whatever. It's like, no, there's nothing wrong with the show. The show is fine. It's the person who's in charge of everything. The guy who's supposed to be steering that Fallout ship, who really is screwing everything up for everybody. You know, I totally get that people would be upset if something that's so beloved to you has its lore changed. Same thing happened again. Star Trek, Star Wars. This happens all the time. This is a common thing that happens in pop culture. But at one point, you have to throw your hands up and say, it's just a TV show. It's just a game. It's not that serious. I might love it, but obviously the people who are in charge don't care as much as me. So therefore, either you accept the changes and you say, okay, they're there, whatever. Either I accept them or you move on, right? One or the other. But again, what the internet has done, they've created this culture of obsession around it, correct? Where now it's okay to obsess on it. It's okay to microanalyze every frame. There will be people who, no exaggeration, off of the Fallout TV show will have a year of content. You know what? I just fell down the rabbit hole of this with Dark Souls because I watched a couple lore videos about Elden Ring when I was going to get back into my second run here. I watched a couple lore videos about Elden Ring trying to understand things about Moog and things like that. And after I watched just a couple of videos, of course, now my entire YouTube feed is now videos about Elden Ring, Dark Souls lore, secrets. And I'm looking, I'm like, dude, there's thousands of these videos. And all of them have, no exaggeration, hundreds of thousands of views. And I'm looking at it like I like Dark Souls. I like Elden Ring. But I sit there all fucking day watching these videos that just micro pick apart every piece of the game. I don't think Miyazaki himself picked apart his games like these people do in these videos. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's wild how people get that crazy for something. I think at some point, and this is my take, and you can just back up and disagree with me, and that's fine. Everyone agree to disagree. That's the beautiful thing about the internet, is that everyone has a different opinion. In my opinion, I'm a variety guy, right? I like Fallout, but I also like Elden Ring, but I also like Street Fighter. So for me, I'm not going to get hyper immersed in one universe. Why? Because when something like the Fallout TV show comes along, changes the lore, that way I don't have to lose my mind. Because if I don't like it, I don't have to watch it. I can ignore it. And if it changes the lore of the games and the games later on are ruined, I'm playing a million other things anyway. I'm good. I don't need to be hyper immersed in one thing. So many people are getting so hyper focused on like one thing of these games, and that's just my thing, man. I'm the lore master of FromSoft. I'm the fucking Fallout fanatic. I'm the crazy Trekkie, right? Which it used to be, and I don't think it's very healthy. Maybe you disagree with me, and again, you have the right to. But to me, from my perspective, it's not healthy to be obsessed with pop culture stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? So now, anyway, 1 Minute Man did another tip, and he's talking about different actors. I'm gonna read this. Hold on. This I can read word for word because the other one he was like he went really long, and I don't want to read a giant paragraph. But this one, he's talking specifically about the actor choices on the show. There's another $10 tip. So he says, Walter Goggins, is a great choice for the part like this, as in M. Emerson. Kevin McLaughlin seems to have lost his screen presence. You know what I think it is? Kevin McLaughlin, who normally completely dominates the screen in Twin Peaks, and this he wasn't meant to. Like, he was meant to just be a supporting character, and they didn't give him a lot to say. That's really what I kind of threw me for a loop. He's the overseer, right? And you would think that he'd be like a key part of the plot, and he seems like he's just swept to the background and supporting character. And that's weird for me, having seen Twin Peaks and knowing what a great lead actor he can be, to see him just be a supporting character in the background, even though he kind of is one of the evil kind of masterminds or whatever. It was weird. Ella Purnell as Lucy is too nice and too likable. Like a sweet puppy in the wilderness, the character should be more gritty. Well, I think that was the point. That was the point of her character until the end. Take a look at how she is at the end of the series. Okay? I think that was her character arc, and now in season 2, she's going to be totally different. He says she's totally tough and she can kick ass. Oh, wait, I think I skipped a young Cote de Pablo. I don't know what that means. I don't know who that is. He says, I agree with you with the Michael Rappaport cameo. It's a very odd choice in a show like this because his public views, as you mentioned, he's wrong for the show. I understand that you're shocked. There's one specific reason. He's the most obvious flipping bird to the people who are deep in the lore of Fallout, and no one notices. That tells you all you need to know about the showrunners. I don't understand that. The reason people don't like Michael Rappaport is because he's been very vocal about politics. Okay? He is a New York City actor. He's got that New York City accent. He's been in a ton of TV shows and movies, but he's very, very vocal about politics. And people don't like that. They would prefer their actors kind of are quiet about politics, and especially because he's not in line with the left-wing politics that a lot of Hollywood is. That's why a lot of people don't like him. So to see him in a show like Fallout, whoa, what a selection, because he's definitely not in line with Hollywood. Like, he's almost anti-establishment, anti-Hollywood as it is. And then to see him get cast in a ginormous Hollywood show like this is kind of a weird choice. Okay. And then we got one final tip. A $5 tip. In conclusion, the showrunners found the perfect balance for changing the canon and turning it into a soap opera set in the world of Fallout. Of course, it can still be entertaining, but now it's a new concept. In the vein of what they did with Star Wars, saying the Force is female. Did they do that? I missed that. Did they say that in the last Star Wars movie? I didn't see the last Star Wars movie, so I would have missed that if they did that. They're smart enough not to make the same mistake as... I don't know what that KK is. I don't know what KK stands for. And to say out loud what they're planning, the show has several flashbacks. And he's talking about Rey with an evil father. Finn had an armored soldier. He's making all kinds of crazy attachment. Oh my God, I'm so confused. He's literally talking about Star Wars and Fallout in the same sentences. It's confusing me. He says the scene with a pregnant woman taking a fork in her eye and then firing an SMG reminds him of Bill Duke in Predator 1987. What? Really? I think in truth, you may have something there. I think that a lot of modern media has a lot of references to old media. I do believe that. I think that a lot of modern media has scenes that are reminiscent of things you've seen in classic media. And in a lot of cases, no one notices because the classic media is so old. Like, let's be honest, out of the vast majority of people who see the Fallout TV series, how many people saw Predator, right? You did and I did, but we're older, right? How many of the younger people who are going to see this show are going to even understand if that is a reference or whatever, right? Right? So, yeah, it's interesting. Anyway, I don't know. That was a deep dive into lore that confused me. Thank you for the tips, 1 Minute Man, as always. By the way, just for the record, you know, I don't want to be giving plot spoilers out about the Fallout show on my stream. That was the whole point of me doing the live review the other day. So I don't want to sit here and talk about plot spoilers. So let's try not to do that moving forward, okay? Because, you know, we just talked in generalities. People who haven't seen the show would not know what we're talking about, which is fine. But I want to make sure that we don't screw everything up for people who haven't seen the show yet. Okay. Bloomkit did a super chat and says the lore is a huge part of Fallout. They should make sure, or they should make more of an effort to make sure the TV show fit the established lore. I don't think they cared. And again, if you want to know the truth, I don't think that's a showrunner issue. I think that's a Todd Howard issue. I think what happened is Todd Howard wanted to appease everyone at once, which you can never do. So he said dumb shit like, oh, this is in line with the games. And then when it wasn't in line with the games, he then had to fucking try to figure out ways to backtrack, or you know what I'm saying? Like, we know for a fact the TV show is not in line with the games in many different ways. I call them out in my review from the other day. Go check that out. I'm okay with the changes as long as you accept this is a new universe. But then Todd Howard says, no, this is canon. That doesn't even make sense, right? It doesn't make sense at all. That's like saying, in a video game, someone has a big power fist, and it's always been told that it's magic. And then they make a TV show, and in the TV show, they say, well, the reason this guy has a powered fist is because of technology. But they're canon. How could it be fucking canon? It's literally 2 different plots. Doesn't make any sense. But that's what Todd Howard did. Oh, it's canon. Okay, Todd. I think here's the truth. People just need to stop listening to Todd Howard. Can we stop? He's a liar. Everyone knows it. He's literally known. His meme is tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. Every word out of the guy's mouth is a half-truth or a partial truth. He lied outright multiple times about Starfield to get people to buy it. They did, and the game was terrible. All the promises he made were lies. So why do we believe a word that Todd Howard says? Why do we even listen to him? You know what they should do? Tape his fucking mouth shut. We don't even need it. Like I said, literally, if he leaves the company, I think it'd be fine. He's hurting them more than helping them at this point. I don't see why he's with them. If you want to do a show that's Fallout, do a show that's Fallout. It doesn't have to be in line with the games. It could be its own universe, and that's fine. And if people want to go for that ride, they can. And if they don't want to go for that ride, they can ignore it until the next Fallout game comes out in 27 years when Bethesda gets around to making another one, right? But instead, we've got, no, it's all canon, so that way people who like the games will still consume the show and buy merch and do that. It's all it is. It's greed. It's Todd Howard and his greed. So we have to stop following these people with these crazy amounts of, like, almost idol worship, right? Todd Howard, he's such a big... No, he's not. He's a nothing. Literally, if you went to a Fallout event for the show and Todd Howard was there, I'd be like, why are you here? Like, what are you doing? What are you adding? You didn't write the show, right? You don't do anything. Like, get out of here. Go fucking home. Leave us all alone. Let us watch the show and see if we like it. But no, instead, oh, Mr. Howard, we love you. Anyway, the Blimp did a super chat. He says, people take content and entertainment and try to turn it into a personality. I swear this became mainstream in the late 2000s with the Big Bang Theory. Oh, I remember in the mid 2010s, a lot of people were like, oh, I'm the MCU. I'm totally into the MCU. This is who I am. Like, I watch all the MCU movies, and I know all the lore, and I love that, right? And now that's kind of tapered off, let's be honest. The MCU isn't nearly as popular as it was, and not a lot of people really talk about it that much anymore. Once Infinity War ended, that was, you know, the end of kind of that wave. Every once in a while, you'll have a Spider-Man No Way Home or you know, Spider-Verse movie. But outside of that, MCU has definitely dropped off. I mean, take a look at fucking Madam Web and shit, right? So it was just funny because it was like, oh my God, my entire existence is I must watch every MCU piece of content, every show, every movie. I must be immersed in it, right? But this happens all the time with pop culture. And again, if you've been there, done that, and seen these cycles, I saw it happen with Star Wars. I saw it happen with Star Trek. I saw it happen with entire other things previous. I saw The Walking Dead. Then I saw the MCU. Now we're getting into video game franchises with Fallout and things like this because now these are becoming mainstream popular with these TV shows. It's the same cycle. It almost always happens. But somehow it's like it's the first time this has ever happened. I don't know. Is it? See, Dan the man knows better than me. He says now it actually happens with anime too. I'll believe you on that one, please. That's a whole other Pandora's box I don't need to be opening. I know enough about everything else going on. I don't need to step into the Pandora's box of anime lore and things going crazy with that. Please let me step back from that ledge before I jump off of it. Okay? Cool. All right. Well, normally I would say, this is the point of the show where we do Q&A, but we've actually gone late, which is not surprising. Usually on my return back from my day off, we have a lot to talk about. And today we did, right? This whole Fallout deal. So here's the little snippets, all right, of things to take, the takeaways from today's show. Number one, I played Fallout 76. Well, I didn't play it. My wife did, and I thought it was terrible. I'm not playing that again. It looks really bad. Number two, I have a live review of the Fallout TV series on my React channel. I hope more of you will check it out. Right now, it's just kind of meh when it comes to anyone watching it. I would hope that it will get more views over time as more people watch the show, but I guess we'll see what happens. If you like the live review format, I may do it for more other shows like The Boys, but also I may do it for other content like video game reviews and things like that. So I need feedback on that. Number three, it looks like next week with the potential of the Fallout 4 update coming out, that people may want to see me try it as a playthrough for May when there's nothing else going on. I'm okay with that as long as you guys are. Let me know. It's the only Fallout game I haven't played more than once. So it would make sense with this update that this is the one that I play a second time. But I would like your feedback on that. Do you want to see that or not? So those are the takeaways for today's podcast. Please leave feedback. Leave a comment on this video or come share your opinions on my future streams coming up here. I'd love to hear from you. All right? But in the meantime, that's going to be it. What happened? Eternal Napalm says he tried to send a super chat, but YouTube dropped it. What does that mean? YouTube dropped your super chat? How could they drop a super chat? Super chats worked as little as 10 minutes ago. So unless YouTube screwed up, which I hope they didn't. I hope YouTube is working. We had technical issues the other day with YouTube that sucked. My Street Fighter stream got kind of screwed up because of technical issues. The reason I'm not talking about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is because Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 sucked. I watched my wife play it, and we both hated it, and I have no interest in playing a sequel. It looks awful. I'm going to be honest. The first game was awful, super boring, and I have no desire to play its sequel. All right? I don't even understand why there was, like, a following for the game. It just didn't seem fun at all. Anyway. All right, Dan the Man just did a super chat and says test, and it worked. So I don't know what happened there. The super chat didn't work for Eternal. It worked for Dan. So thank you, Dan, the super chat. Yeah. Cool spot. You came in late. We can't do mods on Fallout 4 because the new update is going to make all mods obsolete, and all mods will have to be ported to work with the new version of Fallout 4. Therefore, I can't use mods at launch regardless. So the answer is no. I won't be able to use mods. That's actually why they were doing a whole fan-made expansion for Fallout 4 called Fallout London that was supposed to be a whole new story, like a DLC expansion made by fans. And now the entire project got put on hiatus because they need this update patch to come out this week so they can adjust their entire project to work with the update patch. So, yeah. Okay, time to wrap it up, everybody. I certainly hope that you enjoyed the show. Thank you for chilling here with me on the Level 1 podcast this morning. And I am grateful for your attention, for your support, and for hanging out with me. Fallout Mania continues, and it looks like we actually may be having a little bit of our own Fallout Mania next week when the Fallout 4 update comes out. We'll give it a shot, right? But in the meantime, I thank you all, and let's have a good one. Tomorrow, I'll let you know how today went. Today, multiplayer Mania, essentially, with Helldivers 2 and Street Fighter 6, and I look forward to hanging out with you all again Saturday morning. But in the meantime, peace out, be safe, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.